Go on, my friends. Welcome to my van. I don't usually. I think it's probably the first time I've done a video, at least one in a long time since I've been sitting in the van. I'm currently sitting out here at Broadlawns, it's a county hospital here in Des Moines. My wife's inside getting a couple minor procedures done on her hand. She's got some hand pain, so they're gonna do a couple surgery-related things to it. I was talking to one of y'all on the phone or uh, YouTube's chat earlier, right, through comments, about artificial intelligence or AI, and specifically about our gaming hobby and how it's going to affect it or may not affect it. I'm going to probably fiddle with this damn thing. I'm trying to keep it steady. The only downside is you get a really big, ugly picture of my ugly mug, right? I miss the option this one doesn't have is the ability to turn it around. That way you could be looking at the traffic and parking lot instead. Anyway, I believe that artificial intelligence, I have mixed opinions on it in a nutshell. First off, it's here. There's not much we can do to prevent what's coming, and it's going to become even more prevalent, I believe, and I kind of worry about that sometimes. When it comes to the gaming industry, there are a lot of applications that AI would be a bloody genius for. Absolutely will. If you're from looking at preparation, for example, as a game master, storyteller, whatever, a lot of the grunt work that we do, and a lot of us enjoy doing most of it, but there are times when you just go, there's just not enough time in the day to do what you would like. So from NPC character creation, settings, loot, ideas for campaigns all together. There's so many applications for that. The use of a clever AI that's almost endless, and you have to take that into account because that's where we're going to see it, I think, first. The second application is going to come into the video game or the virtual tabletop material, and there's already discussions and concepts about the idea of the virtual GM or the AI run game master. Now, I believe in time that would become even more likely, but it still causes some issues. One of my big concerns is that we already have several generations of young people today that are increasingly more isolated from each other, from human contact, from the human condition. And just by having a computer that can now play back and play much more creatively than, because the sandbox versions of video games we have today are quite inclusive. You can do a lot with them. There's a lot of options in them, but they're far from perfect. And you still know that the computer has limits. The programming is the limit. Well, if the AI can adjust the programming or the content of your video game on the fly on a regular basis, that will change a whole lot of things. That could also make games even more addictive. Virtual games. The downside or the danger, though, is isolation. I fear that the more AI becomes prevalent in the game industry, the less physical groups getting together at, whether it's a physical table or at a virtual table. There's something to be said about the human ingenuity and human thought process. You can get four of us together in the same room and talk about and bring up the same subject, and we're going to have four different opinions on it, four different understandings on it, and more than likely or not, we're going to have input that the other three hadn't considered or had dismissed. And you're going to find it hard for an AI to do that in the near future. In the medium future, who knows? Could we see AI level up? When you think of Star Trek and the holodeck, can we see AI at that level? Yeah, I actually think so, and I think it'll happen much faster and sooner than we're ready for. That's one of the warnings that the high tech, the big tech guys have been warning people about with this AI, that maybe, just maybe, we need to put the brakes on it for a minute. We're not prepared for it. Mentally speaking, our society is not prepared for it. And in a couple of generations, and we're talking AI generations, are very, very short, because they're constantly learning new stuff and they teach themselves. And then what happens when you get a couple of AIs that start teaching each other? And then you get this linked group. I mean, I'm not talking end of the world biblical crap of Terminator kind of end of the world, but the fact of it is, from what we do and how our society functions, we are not ready for this. And how it can impact us at every level is not been well thought out, I think, and that's going to be a problem. We are running blindly. Humanity is its own worst enemy when it comes to technology. We're still coming to grips with nuclear power and the fact that we could obliterate ourselves at a drop of a hat. Somebody gets angry or somebody gets crazy, the wrong person gets their hands on the control, and everything we know is Mad Max, if we're lucky. And there are worse things than that. Put your brain around that for a second. There are worse things than dealing with a nuclear war and the aftermath of it. A biological war could be even worse and far more destructive. Just like the COVID should be a warning on many levels, because if somebody actually was bioengineering a virus that could affect people and it got loose and it couldn't be contained, we'd all be dead. Who knows what would inherit the planet? A nuclear holocaust, there's a small percentage. It's just like a most major impact. So if an asteroid hits the planet, there is a tiny percentage of humanity that would survive. And most y'all who think that building your little bunkers under your houses is going to help you do that, it's just going to prolong the inevitable if it lasts even that long. I mean, I'm just saying, there are some really, truly catastrophic world ending, as in everything we know and understand as the world. Sorry about moving around. Once again, I have yet to get a case for it. I want to get a case so I can prop it up against things. I don't really know where I can prop it up in here that isn't just staring at the ceiling. So, from the perspective of the gamers and being a GM 99% of the time, like I said, I started gaming in late 70s, or 75, 76, something like that, when we were borrowing my best friend at the time, older brother's original white, the white book D&D. And then we got our own first basic box set. First I bought Gamma World, and then I bought the basic D&D red box set, and never looked back. So I played characters, played in other people's campaigns and at other people's tables. But it just seems like 95% of the time it's me running the show as the GM, because nobody wants to do all the legwork that's involved, or they don't have any confidence in it. The what fors and the why fors are as long as the time I've been doing this stuff. And when I haven't been actually running and playing, I'm doing what I'm doing now. Talking about it, sharing it, discussing it, having philosophical, I suppose, if you want to go that deep. Like I said, currently I am running a very small play-by-post. It's just getting started. Setting is Shadowrun, so we'll see how it plays out. I have one player so far post to it. I haven't seen a second post from this person, so we'll see how it plays out. Anyway, AI would be awesome, because see, I'd be one of those people who would tap that just to have something to do. I would tap an AI run GM so I could play a game, but I would be constantly challenging it to go off track, because the problem with current AI technology is just an over elaborate video game when it comes to its algorithms and the way it would be functioning. So it would set up this, here's your goal, you're going to go achieve your goal, and every time you try to go off the goal, it's going to keep trying to drag you back, or trying to redirect you, or pick you back to the beginning to start over again, because it's not capable yet to understand that perhaps what the concept of an actual open sandbox philosophy is. It's just like immersion of play. We talk about, there's a lot of discussion about the fourth dimension of play, or full immersion, theater of the mind. Do you honestly think you can achieve that with an AI running the thing? I don't know. It's possible. If you're willing to, we are willing to suspend a lot of things to ensure our immersion. We take a lot of things for granted, or we put them out of our mind for the moment, but the mechanics are still there, the dice rolls are still there, the still chances, the opportunities, etc., etc.,